on the agenda is a motion to approve the library materials recommendation.
Murfreesboro City Schools received a request for reconsideration for library materials regarding the book It Feels Good to Be Yourself by Teresa Thorne on December 11th, 2024. This book is part of the library collection at Bradley Academy. Per board policy 4.403, Dr. Lewis, principal of Bradley, convened a materials review committee to review the challenged materials, and that committee completed the checklist for reconsideration of library materials form. The committee met on December 17th and completed the review process per board policy. The committee consisted of a school media specialist from our district, a classroom teacher from our district, a parent from Bradley Academy, and district instructional staff. 4 committee members recommended removal of the book. 1 committee member recommended to retain. These results were sent to Dr. Lewis per board policy 4.403. Dr. Lewis presented a recommendation to affirm the majority decision of the review committee to the Director of Schools on December 19th, 2024. Board policy requires the Director of Schools to assess the findings along with the recommendation of both the principal and the review committee and present a recommendation to the board. The recommendation of the Director of Schools is to affirm the decision of the review committee and the school principal and remove the book from circulation.
Dr. Duke, do I have a motion to approve the recommendation for removal of the book?
So moved.
Mrs.
Second.
Second, Mr. Sells. Any questions or discussion?
Okay. I do want to say that I really wrestled with this, because we had someone come in to our community and bring up something to our attention, and I really was concerned about where the parents, where the teachers, where the administrative staff really concerned about the book, because I really am against just going against banning books. But in this instance, when they brought up readability, I did reach out and I talked to a lot of people about this book because I really wanted to know if if it was reaching its intended audience, and I wanted to make as much of a, not about my opinion and what I thought about the book, as not as unbiased as possible. And it's just challenging because I would prefer that this book be used as, if it can be used as a resource to help children that might be dealing with these issues, because we are in a public school. Public schools, the kids have different issues. And I don't know, this one was harder than most. I really wrestled with it because I believe that librarians are skilled and are experts in their craft, and they go to school for making sure that their the reading materials are appropriate for their population. And I just wanted to, I'm happy that we did a panel. That way I have guidance from the panel of what the panel also agreed with, so then it takes a little bit out of what Jeanette thinks and what is best for the children and our families in Murfreesboro City Schools.
Ms. Price, any other comments or questions?
Madam Chair, I do want to say that I am so grateful, and I said it kind of jokingly about Murfreesboro City being the best district that it really is. Because there's a process in place. When issues like this come up, we have a process. Not only do we have a process, we actually follow our process. That cannot be said of every district in the state. And I think that's a really, really good thing. If you impanel a committee, I feel very strongly that we listen to the recommendation of the committee, because that's what they're there for. I never take it as my job to second guess a committee that's already been second guessed. The process involves a committee being convened and the committee's recommendation being reviewed and the recommendation of the recommendation being reviewed. So I would be a little bit, I don't know, I don't want to use the words come to my head, so I won't use that one. But it would be a little bit silly of me to third guess everybody else's after they've read it, after they've done all their due diligence, which I believe they do because we have the time. So when I think I'm in 1, 2, 3, I guess I'm in 4, 8, I can't count that high. I've been on this school board for 8 years going, I guess I'm into my 9th year now. And I was reminded of something, one of my kids on my bus that I drive gave me a card for Christmas. And it helped to remind me the reason that I got on the school board. Politics had zero to do with it. When it comes to the school board and the education of our kids, the protection of our kids, I do not deal politics at all. I don't see Republican, I don't see Democrats, I just see kids that need to be protected, kids that need to learn in a safe environment, and that's why I do this work. And I think I share that with all of my board members. We're not here because, we've got a political drum to beat. We're here for the benefit of these kids, and that's why we got in the job. We are not here to stick out our chest or state our claim or any of those things. It's all about the kids. And I hope that the community at large can see that. I really do. I hope you can see it, I hope you can feel it. When you see us in the community, we're about the kids. We don't care about the politics of it. We want our kids to be protected. We want our kids to learn in the best and the safest environment. And that's why we go through the processes and procedures that we go through. So I have no issue voting in the affirmative on this. So I'm happy to let y'all know I'm going to say yes.
Any other comments, questions?
So, just to be clear, everyone up here, I'm sure, has had a hard time with this deciding. So I want everyone in the community to know that we did not take this lightly at all. This is all I thought about since this came up. How was I gonna go with this? So just know that we have taken all this very seriously. And also I wanna clarify, so a vote yes would be to remove the book, is that correct?
That's right, because that was the recommendation, so.
I just wanna make that clear, so none of us make mistakes.
Any other comments, questions?
I would just like to say, I submitted this, recommendation for review after a lot of prayer and thought, and, it was a hard decision. Our guest speaker brought it to our attention. I don't appreciate the way it was brought to our attention. But I was glad that we, found out about this. The book has been on the shelf since 2022, from what I understand. It's never been checked out, so it's not been in circulation. But it's still there. And my concern was a kindergartner coming and checking out that particular book, and then, it caused me confusion in his or her little mind. And, I just think we, as board members, are responsible for protecting kids and allowing parents to do their job. So that's my reasoning behind it.
I'd like to add some comments as well. I also wrestled with this. A couple things that I was trying to balance. One is that I'm always concerned anytime I feel like there's a push to demonize a marginalized population. And city schools are very diverse. We have kids who come from homes that don't look like everybody else's homes. And I'm always concerned if there's a message coming from the school that maybe their family's not welcome or valued. So that is a concern on one hand. On the other hand, I trust our librarians. And so I was really eager to hear what the recommendation was going to be from the panel that was compiled after they reviewed it with an academic eye on things. So those two things I was wrestling with. But I also want to address the way this came before us. And there's some things that I think the public needs to understand about how this came to us, so that you're aware sometimes of how these shows that show up at school boards, what the motivation behind this might be. So we have a speaker who brought this to our attention. We made reference to that at our December board meeting. This person had advertised his visit to us for weeks before he came. never contacted the school, never contacted central office, and never contacted this board, even though he came and yelled at us about this dangerous book we had on the shelf. So apparently he knew about it for weeks, but never let us know. We only found out because he was making a media tour of national media markets, when he was here the day of our board meetings, and what happened to hear about it and let us know. So to me, I think, had he contacted the board, as long as the person who filed the challenge had contacted us about this concern, I'm gonna assume he would have filed the challenge then. We'd be right where we are now, probably faster. But the thing that would have been missing was some personal promotion, in a show. So I just think that's really important for everyone to realize that that's how this came about, that it was in the works, but none of us knew. And so if it were really so dangerous, what was the motivation there? With that said, I think we will turn to the vote. So we have a motion to approve the recommendation from Dr. Duke, which is to remove the book from the shelf. All those in favor, please say aye.